Welcome back everyone. We're off to meet a lad called Alan. He's got a Mark 1 Focus and it's rear wheel drive with a Cosy engine in. He's had it about 12 years. We're nearly there though, we'll be there in like 5 minutes. So I'll catch up with you when we get there.
The worst part of this car is the lock, actually full lock, because it's still, because the chassis legs are wider than a Sierra, but it's still got the Sierra rack on it. So right. You get the full lock of a Sierra, but you don't get the full lock because but you know what, that's the point of it being rear wheel drive, just floor it if you want to go. So it's
just
like
round.
a 50-point fucking turtle. Well, you know, it's a bit tatty here and there, but just
Usable, man, usable.
This is it, this is exactly it.
If it was concourse, no. Immaculate.
Yeah.
I mean,
underneath, I mean, it's a 21-year-old car now. I mean, underneath is mint. You know,
is it?
Yeah, it's all back soil here, there, and everywhere. And I always do it like start of the year. I take a poly disc on my angle grinder, just do the arches, and then it's fucking no rust there at all, and I just recoat it basically. Yeah, recoat it, and just do a full thing, do shuts and bit of primer shots here and there and everywhere. And yeah, it's just maintain it basically.
Maintain it and enjoy it.
This is the other thing I think I did from last year was I put harder springs on the coilovers in the front because it kept dipping and touching the arch on this side. So it got even harder then, but it was fantastic on track. So you're full on turning is fantastic, especially with the compression struts and that.
Never used these harnesses that I started doing these videos.
Yeah, that's
then
it.
You find out everyone's got them.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, the other half, she loves that seat because it's it's good for your posture, obviously. But on long trips, she just falls asleep. She falls asleep at least 300 miles. Like she doesn't get up.
How long have you seen you've had this? About 12 years?
12 years, yeah.
And built by Andrew Gallagher?
Yeah, Andrew Gallagher built it originally.
Scottish fella, he built.
Yeah.
He's built loads of top end focuses and that, hasn't he?
Everything. He built his 2 Mark II space frame focuses.
Aye.
Done a few track days with him, could never keep up.
That's the price, it's about 900 horsepower, wasn't it?
Yeah, ridiculous. The guy's great, he's a fountain of knowledge as well. He's a man of very few words, but every question I've had for him, he's been able to answer, sort out any problems that I've had, really. So I've been really, really lucky to have a lot of people around me and be able to ask things. Let's say I was always into Z-Tech turbos and stuff, so.
So you used to have one Mark 1 Focus, didn't you? And you put a 1.4.
Yeah, Mark 1 Focus. Had a 1.4 engine, and I put nitrous oxide on it. I don't know. Just thought it was a bit of fun, really.
Aye. Was it just a standard engine then? You just whack a bottle on?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Did it blow?
No, never broke. No, I don't think I used it long enough, really. The whole point of this car was to have a lot of fun and to build something that's quite reliable. Reliability is key, really, for anything that's got a Cosworth engine. So when I went to the Nürburgring, I mean, the last thing you want is to have that Cosworth paranoia set in to build the engine, spend the money around it, really, harness the power as much as possible and utilise it fully. got an 80-litre fuel tank, stripped out interior. It's very comfortable to drive, especially on long journeys.
Aye. So what power do you think it is? 400, isn't it?
Yeah, it's close to 400, yeah. Like I say, it's got all the right bits. It's got 200 block, 2-wheel drive head.
What turbo you got?
T34.
T34.
Got 6.3 housing, light blue injectors. Very much a tried and tested package, you know.
Aye.
It's a wonderful thing about these engines. Everybody's done pretty much everything to them.
Been around for that long, everyone's been choosing forever.
Exactly. So I thought, you know, have a nice reliable engine, let's start spending around it, like have a nice 60-degree rear beam, big brakes, decent suspension.
That's the best way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It makes the car more enjoyable.
Oh yeah, and safer. I mean, I've been in a lot of cars where people do number chasing, but they've not spent the money where it really matters, like brakes, for example.
Brakes and suspension and that.
Yeah.
I had a Nova, that was a 280 16 valve. It had 1.2 V8 when I got it. I used to go through red lights, I couldn't stop for just pump. You know what I mean? It was just an absolute nightmare. I scared myself of that, like. Absolutely scared myself, got rid of it.
Oh, so nice though. You don't see him anymore, do you?
Nah, you didn't. But this year, Focus is becoming quite rare as well, though, isn't it? You don't really. They're getting on a bit now.
This is it.
What year did they stop making these? Like 05 or something? 06?
Yeah, it was 05,
05, was it?
Very early on, I think. But yeah, as I say, he drives like a Sierra Saf. But I think the main difference is it doesn't have that massive weight of the boot hanging over the rear end. So, you know, when you're throwing a Sierra into a corner, it wants to step out quite easily. This, it will step out if you push it.
Is it snappy?
Yeah, it can be. But you really have to push it, so it just grips the road so well. It's on 18-inch wheels with Federal RSR tyres, which are fantastic in a dry. In the wet, not really tried them yet.
Is it more of a dry weather car or just...
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, all the bits and bobs like things like aircon and stuff, you know, that doesn't exist.
As long as your heaters work, it's all about.
Yeah, it's got a heater in it, heated windscreen, you know.
What's your daily car then? What do you drive every day?
Fiesta Zeta gas.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A newish one?
The Max 7, it's diesel, so I work for the NHS in mental health, you see, so... But I work about 40 miles away, so a commuter needed to be a little bit, you know...
Reliable and...
Yeah, reliable, good fuel consumption and all that.
What's the brakes off?
So the calipers are from a Porsche Cayenne, so they're 6-pot Brembos. They run on 360 by 32mm AP Racing rotors and bells.
Who built the cage in this?
Myself and a friend in Wrexham. Phil, he's an engineer, works in a cheese factory in Wrexham. He's a phenomenal engineer, like, great welder. So we thought, right, let's try and make this a little stiffer. And yeah.
Beefy old cage,
yeah, quite beefy. But it's made a massive difference.
Is that 2 inches that part?
Yeah. Yeah,
a bit of protection there then.
Yeah, it's done really well. I mean, because it was not that the shell was flexing a lot, but you'd really feel it in drifts on track. It just...
Did you notice when you put the cage in?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It became all far stiffer, and I had to sort of soften up the springs at the back, really, as well, because the whole shell was a lot more rigid.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all seam welded throughout, which is... it's quite funny when I go to Germany, so good mates over there, Alex and Max, when they look at the car, these are, you know, meticulous German lads that work in motorsport and build race cars. And when they look into the car, they're sort of like, you see their face kind of squirm. Not because the car's badly built, it's just because all the welds, they're not sort of stamped with like a date and time of who welded it now, you know. So everything has to be meticulous in Germany, which is right, you know. But after 12 years, you know, if it was going to break or split in half, I think it would have done it by now.
I think
But it doesn't stop him from wanting to drive it and look all over it and stuff, because you park this in a car park after being on track, You park it next to an Audi R8 or anything really, or Porsche GT3 RS. People always flutter around it.
Aye, when you pop the bonnet.
Yeah, they know what that is underneath it. They know what the car is, but it shouldn't be mated with it. So I don't think it'd ever pass the German TUV, which is their like MOT kind of thing. See, it wants to step out, but that beam is great. He just
Holds it in.
He just sort of like just twists that chassis back straight. It's brilliant. I love it. Doesn't do that in a wet mind.
How much are the beams?
The beams, I think they're about £1,000, something like that. Yeah. I mean, let's say that and that rear super diff is the best money you can spend on a Cosworth. It's fantastic.
Spot on, Alan, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Do you want to plug your Instagram or anything?
Yeah, it's sorry, it's a Welsh one. It's Cochin_RS.
What is it?
Cochin.
Cochin?
No, not Cochin.
That's what it sounded like.
COCHY.
Right.
Yeah.
I like Cochran.
Cochin.
Right. That's
Cochin.
Cochin.
_RS.
Right. I'll leave his Instagram below. Mine's also there as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Spot on, mate. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, Paul.
Thank you.
That was good.